Deus ex machina translates as God from the machine.
He went very close there, eh?
The term was coined from ancient Greek theatre, where actors who were playing gods were brought on stage using a machine. But these guys aren't actors. The stage is the Isle of Man mountain course, and this isn't a play. It is very real. And for the masses of motorcycle riding spectators, the Isle of Man TT is akin to a religious pilgrimage to experience the racing firsthand and to be in the company of the gods. And whether their god of choice is John McGuinness, the Crowe Brothers, the Birchalls, Joey or Michael Dunlop, Dean Harrison, Davey Todd, Peter Hickman, or any of the riders past or present that have qualified for the TT, they are all gods. I know. I felt their presence. Some of the riders in the Isle of Man TT Superstock class are amateurs, also known as privateers, but they are all serious, highly experienced racers. The TT does not distinguish between amateur and professional in the same way that other sports do. Entry is based on skill and experience, not on whether a rider is paid for their racing, or whether they're a plumber or a mechanic. While the video of the riders and motorcycles is exciting, the still shots really give me an appreciation for so many aspects of the godlike skill and bravery that these racers have, which you can miss when they're shooting past you at 320 kilometers an hour plus. For instance, this rider struck a bird at mile 33 barely a mile before this photograph was taken. It fractured his left arm and also dislocated his wrist, yet he still persevered. I guess he felt it was quicker to continue on his superstock than it was to wait for an ambulance. Next, I caught Dean Harrison's Honda still wheeling in 4th gear. He was the only rider to do this in this section. Even the great John McGuinness, legend that he is, couldn't get air on his Honda. And I wondered if this was a rear suspension setup, rider weight, or different maps for the bikes. But that'll be a trade secret. Supposedly, it's quicker not to wheelie, but Dino won this race, so who knows? Number 8, Davey Todd, on his S1000RR of the new 810 team, was racing for himself and Hickman in the Isle of Man TT after Hickman's crash earlier that week. He came home second in this race, but I found it interesting that all the 3 top riders in this race had almost identical lines every lap. Here's Michael Dunlop, who came in 3rd on his BMW S1000RR. The Isle of Man is home to what I would call some big wins, and the last day's senior TT was cancelled because it was deemed too much by the riders as they went out and rode the course. I can attest, twigs, debris and all sorts were blowing with gusto across the track where we were.
Got to get the twigs off too.
It was a sensible decision. In this sequence of photos at Creg-ny-Baa, the strength and frequency of the crosswind is no joke. On this day, some riders chose a line closer to the berm that we were sitting on, particularly when the wind came across the track from our backs. I guess it gave them a sense of shelter, but for us, it was unreal. And when they're this close, 1/2000th of a second shutter speed just isn't enough. You need a 4,000th to stop those machines. Next lap, and Dino's line is consistent. Wind or no wind, as is Davey Todd, but is he having to cant into the crosswind to make a small correction here? Dunlop seems to have been blown slightly over and is working to bring his superstock bike back towards us. Many of the top riders ride in all the classes, from the mighty 1000cc superbikes through the 1000cc superstocks, which can actually be faster than the superbikes, the 700cc super twins, and the supersport 600 cylinders and the 675 triples. While some privateers may only ride 1 or 2 classes, the latter shots here are the Super Twins, sounding more akin to a bygone era of racing. And they're the Kawasaki's, the Aprilias, the Pattons, and the like. I think Ryan, my friend who accompanied me to the Isle of Man TT, was particularly taken with the physicality, stamina, and pain tolerance of the passengers, or monkeys, as some call them, on the sidecars. You can see the difference between the top teams, like the Crowes and the Birchall Rosny, by looking at their lines through the corners, and their leathers, many with track paint or scuffs on their legs and bums. Brave isn't the word. And just to add, to underline the credentials of these riders, Davey Todd and Peter Hickman just this week came first and second for their new 810 team in November's recent Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix 2025, Todd leading it from pole. And you can watch the deities fly around the circuit at one of hundreds of viewpoints. The question is, which one? Each mile of the TT course has a name, starting with the famous TT Grandstand on the Glen Crutchery Road in Douglas. This is a good place to start your viewing experience, as it is both the start and finish of the 37-mile circuit, and between qualifying and racing, it's a great place to be, as behind the grandstand is the paddock. Of course, it also has excellent transportation links, and if you're lucky enough to be on motorcycles like us, then parking is available and free.
With 3 seconds to go, it becomes a very loading place for Michael Dunlop as he now leaves the start line, so he's
We paid £10 to sit in the grandstand during racing and qualifying.
windy conditions with strong gusts. Please be aware of this the first lap, get used to where they are and ride accordingly, okay? Control out.
Being my first time at the TT, it amazed me that I could just wander around and see the mechanics, the machines and riders up close, no money down. The pit crews and riders were casually hanging around chewing the fat, tuning their bikes or testing motors. The chances of getting into the paddock, let alone seeing Fernando Alonso or Lewis at Austin last month, was zero without dropping a cool $5,000 for starters. But here he was, John McGuinness, MBE, just standing outside his sponsor tent, opposite his and Dean Harrison's Honda paddock, chatting with spectators, signing programs and merch, and smiling for pictures, including for yours truly. Amazing. Then there was Ben Birchall casually tuning his sidecar rig's engine while we looked on. His brother, Tom, though, had defected and was in with Ryan and Callum Crowe, perhaps offering some advice. Advice it turned out they probably didn't need, as they led Tom's older brother to first place in both races, breaking the lap record in the first race and finishing the second race with a minute in hand of Ben Birchall and Patrick Rosny. As already mentioned, the entire Snowfall Mountain course is nearly 38 miles long. It's impossible to see all parts of the course during one visit, and it would likely take me 10 years to experience all the best spots for viewing this race. Part of the problem, as outlined in part 1 of the video, link above, is that the public roads that make up the entirety of the course close 1 hour or so before practice, quali and racing. During that time and for several hours afterwards, you cannot easily travel to different parts of the TT course.
So this is what it looks like minutes before they shut the track. This is between Quarter Bridge and Braddon Bridge, and right along the straight here, and you can see people trying to get where they're going. There's thousands of bikes here of all sorts. We've literally got about 10 minutes till the roads are closed, and you can see everyone getting out of the campsite and trying to get to where they're going. This is the Peel Road, so off to my right is Peel and off to my left is Douglas.
So any travel across or around the roads of the course need to be planned well before the extensive daily closures. Deciding whether you will be inside or outside the circuit is vital. There are places on the outside of the course where you can watch from one viewpoint and then ride, walk or drive away and reconnect with another viewpoint, like the western parts of the circuit between the Curragh Road and Kirkmichael by way of Peel, or to the north between Parliament Square and Governor's Bridge Fan Park via Laxey. Speaking of Laxey, one of my favourite places to see the race was outside Joey's Vintage Cafe at Bungalow, deep into the mountain section, which is mile 31 below Snæfell Peak. You can take the Snæfell Mountain Railway tram from Laxey to the Bungalow, getting off before the summit.
Seems to be a bit of a barricade there.
This is an amazing viewpoint, as you can see the bikes and sidecar rigs go through the corners there and under the footbridge, disappearing into the hills. It makes for some tremendous views, particularly of the passenger moving around with the track winding around in the background. There were times when the really dedicated sidecars would kiss the curb and the passenger would rub a leg or butt cheek on the curb. Such is the precision of these riders. You can also get up there from the A14, which is beautiful, a twisty ride in itself through the moors and the mountains, but not when the track is closed.
Coming down from Kate's Cottage to Creg-ny-Baa.
Another favourite was several miles on, just after the tight right corner at Creg-ny-Baa between mile 34 and 35. The riders take the corner just after Kate's Cottage and blast along the hedge-line straight, truly between the hedges, with you perched on the berm to one side, feet inches from the track, your knees inches from the engine casings. As fast as the riders were going when they passed us, I was stunned to find that most of them were still actually only in 4th gear and winding up to 5th, and had 2 more gears to go. My camera, shooting in burst mode, was able to catch most of them at 0.002 of a second. As mentioned on the previous video, between mile 1 and 2 in Douglas, Quarterbridge Pub Corner was a convenient place for us to view the race, as was the run to Ballaugh Bridge, as it was adjacent to our campsite. But you're on the inside of the course. Quarterbridge offers great deceleration and a corner after coming down from Bray Hill. They offer excellent views and a sense of speed, and often provide passing opportunities, but there are better places. Not one of my favourite places, but between mile 24 and 25 between Parliament Square and May Hill is a short straight between houses in the town of Ramsey. The blast along there and then hard right onto May Hill allows for some great sounds and the classic views of motorcycles passing post boxes, houses, pavements and sidewalks, trees, all the things you would find in a residential area. This wasn't a favourite, but it gives you a different flavour to the race, and it's worth checking out. And here I put on my reverent voice, drum roll please, because by far my favourite spot to view the race so far anyway is halfway between mile 10 and 11 at Cronk-y-Voddy and Molyneux before Drinkwater's Bend. This was completely intoxicating. The bikes have a chance to stretch their legs as they blast away from Sarah's Cottage towards Barragarrow. This viewpoint is staggering and breathtaking. It is sublime. Parking at the junction on the Ballaugh Road and walking towards the course, you have no idea what you're in for. Sneaking behind and under the Marshall stand feels naughty, and edging beside and below the road along the hollow through the well-worn hedge paths under the canopy, you can sense the history of this gnarly footpath used by spectators since 1907. This is a well-worn pilgrim's trail that allows you to pop up on the grassy verge right beside the track. Here, you will lose your TT virginity, as I did. This is where you realize you are mortal and the riders are just not.
think he got his mirror in the temple.
Here is where you realize you are not fast. At Cronk-y-Voddy, you learn just how furiously these riders are chasing that clock. The fast ones barely lifting off at 200 miles an hour to Drinkwater's Bend. Here is where the wind blast will rip your camera from your hand. And some machines scream past your temple at no more than 20 inches away. Here is where 1/4000th of a second does not freeze the frame. And here is where the gods scream. Needless to say, Cronk-y-Voddy is a dangerous place to watch from. The bikes are topping out in 6th gear, and while the lowly 150 kilogram 700cc Super Twins may only reach 160 miles an hour, the 200 plus horsepower 1000cc Superbikes and Superstocks will reach over 200 miles an hour here, with the outright record being 206 miles an hour by a Suzuki on the Selby Straight just a little further down. It's here, at Cronky as the locals call it, that you can understand how an average speed of 136 miles an hour and a lap time of just over 16 minutes and 36 seconds is possible on this 38 mile or 61 kilometer circuit with its narrow streets, steep and tight corners, and wickedly short sight lines.
Oh my God.
And you are part of it. You feel it. It rumbles through you, and despite the danger, you become a captivated kid. You can feel the wind. 2 feet away.
This is it, you can't I could do it.
But, as I mentioned before, I didn't get everywhere. I didn't even get to 10%. So, among the many places I regret not getting to, I feel the most spectacular and exhilarating for me would be at the bottom of Ballaugh Hill, just before mile 13, on the inside of the track where the course kinks left, next to a white painted wall with some flowers cascading down it, and a dip in the road as it curves left. The juxtaposition between that and the violent squirming of the bikes is the most committed lift-off in a bank, nearly skimming the wall and landing with an unsettling squirm at 160 miles an hour is, I've heard, hard to get your head around. The bikes are said to kiss the tarmac and in some cases the wall too. I've heard riders say this is the most daunting part of the course for them, the place they fear and where relief washes over them when they've made it through, the bottom of Ballaugh Hill. Many riders set their bikes up for this corner, as it is easy to get out of shape there. The alternative is only slowing down or crashing. And given the runoff, even gods wouldn't survive. But what about you? If you visited the Isle of Man TT races, where are your favourite spots to watch and why? Educate me. What have I missed in this episode?
Your journey to the summit will take about 30 minutes to take you to the highest point of the island. The summit is...
If you've never been, let me know if you're inspired to go and are planning a trip now you've seen this video. I'd love to hear that feedback. What can I say about the Isle of Man, the Isle of Man TT? I can't do this place justice, and no matter how many times the bikes flew past me, I just couldn't get my head around the incredible bravery and speed of these riders. Words fail me. The video slows it down. You actually have to be there to witness the speed. And please, don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment below, please. These videos take a long time to make, and I hope you found them worthwhile. Cheers, and I'll see you all in the next one.